Mexico, the wind on the mesa, blowing its way out of sluggish center, coaxing a tropical fragrance to moist rains of December. Mangoes and rum, the bright blades of poinsettias, the soft call of birds in the forest, the sound of women dipping water at wells, the taunting of little children. I think of poinsettias out of the earth, red as a rose in the teeth of a woman, black as the hair of the Virgin of Guadalupe, as shaken with passion as the spilled blood of Christ. I split my heart on the blood of Mexico. I nailed myself to the Mexican cross. I've nailed myself to the Mexican cross. The flint knife of her beauty. I hunger the solace of mango fruit, the woman flesh of the guava. Desire splits on the quick of poinsettia, stung to the rake of Mexican nettle. I am shambled in trees, thirsting the river stone of God, the water wells of passion. Her limbs, the witchery of her excellent legs, the Mexican glimmer along the lips, the clicking teeth of her laughter. Nailed, split, crucified, scourged, shrieked on the cross, flayed to the slump of the devastated heart. My body blazes. Body blazes. In the pound of blood, all meaning moves, all movement dazes. She flashes her eyes. Mexico shudders under the leaves, shaking the branches. In the live ripple of whispering feet, in the clear spurt of laughter, in the high peal of rivering lips, the stunned lurch of passion. I am agonized on the Mexican cross, in the hopeless fashion. I cry. Will she burn me out, char the body ashen? Let the white hope live, make the black hope die. I suffer the lance thrust under the rib, one pierce of her eye. I suffer the lance. I faint on the sexual cross of this Mexican madness. I am fierce. My flesh is stitched with a riddle of lips. On the blade of the crimson poinsettias, she has gashed my side. With one wound of her lips, with one of the little wantonnesses she works with her fingers. The flesh of the mango fruit, the ravishing meat of the guava. Why must God deny me? Where is my boast? What has come of my strife? On the Mexican cross, between the two thieves of her eyes, I nail my life. Nail my life, am laid in the tomb of immolation, wrapped in silence, packed about with aloes and spices. Her pledge suffices. I rest in rock, hidden behind the slab of stone, shielded and safe from the curse of soldiers. I await her word, the syllable of grave inflection, salving the sting of crimson poinsettias, healing the wound of the Mexican cross. I dreamed the dawn of the longest night, the one resurrection. Oh, oh, what is it? What is it? Can make a woman enter into a man's life and possess him against all the force of his mind, his intelligence, his will, and his commitment, and lift him out of himself into an area that he had thought to have forsaken forever. But immemorial presence she possesses, with which she works a man's life as her will of him, despite the holiest vows and the greatest hope. Oh, immemorial beauty, shaking the heart of the poet and the stone heart of the monk, grinding between the heart of the poet and the heart of the monk, the millstones of fatality, the long destiny of the heart of man and its unquenchable passion. Oh, beauty of God. The wonder and dazzle of a reality that is so constituted that all the simplicities are confounded by such incredible complication. Whoever gives himself to God learns sooner or later the worth of what he has attested to. And the tested knows, comes to know his heart. The heart of his failure comes to know his God. The woman's flesh comes to know his own soul. Many women in my life, in my past, I came to my God out of the arms of woman. How was I to know I was to recover him in the arms of another? I could not know that. These poems breed into places of consequentiality, and the rhetoric of the poet rises to match the exigence of his life. He has no other way through as poet. As man of God, he has no other way through than prayer, even as he endures. But all his prayer was unavailing to prevent for him. I take you now, my friends, down into the deep cave, the pit of passion, the long animal cry, the moan of God, whimpering, struggling for survival. My way back into it, fight it out again in this encounter with you. The last day of April in the year 1968, flushed New England spring with the blossoms like passion strewn on the landscape. Down. The spring burn and break open then. That obscure and immortal strangeness. Springtime. And in the vanquishing of winter, the song of a bird all night long over San Francisco, the Southland stranger, his voice caroling a cool rapture, he twirled a dream. A dream tormented, a dream betokened, a dream conceived. His throat bled, He cried out, a heart rip of brutal passion, spirited and transfigured in the ecstasy of song. He shuddered at truth. In the dream his heart bled. The mind smote, no, but his beat bled on that mortal boon, his love's immortal strangeness. His voice bled on its sob. He curled tongue in the doubt, the chill whisper. His heart evoked a strange freedom. Over the no, the word of the will. His voice curled and fluted. His tongue cut that yes. Cut yes. His voice bled. We heard the will caught on its no, but the bleeding tongue. She turned, her eyes in that dark over the chilled liquor, the flagrant rum, pierced, veiled dangers, doubts, pierced on silences. I lurched. When her head turned, my mouth groped. In the clenched darkness, the rose unfolding, the lipped unloosening leaves yielded the crimson heart, the dream pierced. Song bled. In the brutal heart of the tyrant bird, conscience shook on the pierced contraction, spurred. Her eyes veiled. She bent. Let the Holy Ghost, hawk of the brutal flesh, be blessed by a bird. Be blessed. That bird cried out all night, Southland stranger, rare on the roofs of San Francisco. I heard in my brain the redoubtable no, but the bird yesed it. You kissed. I felt birdsong blaze in my brain, the pearl peeling, the flesh buckling, shuddered under my till. In the rose revealed, the flesh found forth spurt of shagged rapture, mouth cupped on mouth, stunned on the struck song. We clung. Cried yes. I smote the wall with my balled fist. She clutched air, emptiness, a thickness flooding about the knees. Limb lash, wrapped a hacking ratchet. We blocked. A long, twinging lightning flickers the loins, licks through us, slips bristling meshes. Those lion nerve noises the whole need makes when it scents rut snuff scut in his nostril. Trampling with foot pads pummels the flesh, an ecstasy of thrust. Lips fight, teeth clash, tongue, torturing tongue. Now up and down under the long stitch of man flesh goes suckering in. All that fretfulness shut now, pearl shuddering under. It is the mate to the male. An odor of sperm, sea smell, salt waft of all women, savor. And the woo, loosed of this longing, return, back to beginning. Sea source, a rock jutting, tooth dinner. Spray-drenched, spiced spume on wet beaches, the bone chalice vestry. Sea source, cove closed, wave walk. You fall still under my spentness breathing. I grope across her spoiled pride, all shattered passion. Her virtue shambled about my loins, nakedly dripping. Floor cold floods us with chill, chastens the heat flushed limbs, repents. In the rose revealed, the seed shakes free, streaks home rigs. She struggles up, groping her clothes together, pushing, protesting. When we fell on the hard floor, in the harsh dark, on the bitter boards, when we fell, we rose. We rose. She plaited her hair. Woman of God, once of this world. When a bird cried out over San Francisco, was blindness blessed? Was blessing born of a bird song, may sin redeemed? Is sin transformed in ecstasy, in love reprieve? Can love annul a sin stain? Can a bird bless a wound? Bless a wound in the transparent night, in the spring her lips. One mockingbird threaded the dark with cool delight. I heard his oath. I staggered against the presence of God. I dropped for default. Somewhere within, pools of silence drank rifts of semblance in the swell of time. Across her brow the song trilled on, merging, mocking. My mind struck bars of moonshaft filtering dew. Braced on belief, kept there a man of remorse. I could only bless. Could bless. Cried the benediction of the bar. She only smiled. Her eyes veiled a wisdom. I cried words of proof. Is joy the justification? Justification the joy? She only smiled. Hush. Be troubled, nothing to speak. Be still. I was hushed. Her eyes, the woman wisdom, deeper and more mint than the kerns of my man, gave no answers up. Wisdom of the flesh, woman's old immutable law, and the blood oath pledged to the past. The truth to be. The truth to be. In her term, that finality I dipped and was purged. Where was the seed that sprang in the night, lipped in the rose? She smiled. In her wisdom, she cradled my head. On her breastboard I lay. Along the line of my brow her lips led, her fern breath blessed me. What had I wrought in her woman's womb, my man's pride? She smiled. My hand broke to the ground. Over the roof the bird bore on. That torrent tongue, vocable of an infused rapture, a taunting truth. Shocked of the inviolable empathy, kind keening to kind, our ears rang realness. We believed ourselves blessed. We believed. Night fails, gropes out to sea, questioning. What seed stirs yet in the flesh of the rose? What bird burns the dawn unappeased of his violent blessing? I hear his rage of brute voracity throat his red love. I hear his madness provoke the obdurate shuttage round reason's range, this substance of thrust. Can a bird absolve? In the violence of flesh, his mindlessness annuls without cease explicit reversals, brooks the burden back. Her eyes shone wisdom. She shut my mouth. She laid a hand on my face. I cut contradictions. She smiled and shone wisdom out of her brow. I preached the justice in the joy. She shut my tongue. She muted my mouth. I say nothing. In the dawn she goes down. In the church she chooses, kneels now at the cross. In the closed confessional, bends down and is purged. I beat my fist on the wall. Woman of God, does not a bird absolve? She smiled and left me. She followed her thirst-deep truth to its source, that driven dog. I beat my fist. I heard the bird borne out and on of the windowed heart, a song of reprieve. The song. But in the heart's red rage I balked through. When does the sin become its virtue? I rest the prongs of my contradiction. I plague my mind with devils and thorns. I toss to my angel. Christ and Master, on the cross you wept. Read my blunt heart. She smiles and says nothing. In her woman's wisdom, born of the violated flesh, self-seared in a surged recklessness of heart, I sense the same. That bird of song, she smiles and stirs. Cut on the rose, reach of contrition, my pride pales. Her eyes annul me. Facing their forth, I scuttle wrath. I drop defeated. I drop defeated, rose renewed. And in the cry of a bird have seized salvation. In the sin's red gape I crawl through, I seize salvation. The benediction of a bird stabs and transforms, I seize salvation. Heart wound of Christ, head wound of God. Above the pang of a bird, the sheer smile of a woman's wisdom, I touch reprieve, I seize salvation. Kneel, crouching and confessing. Under the stroked gesture of absolution, I kneel, plowing clots off my greaves and swaying staff. In the breaded sacrament, I eat my God. In the plunged wine, tell truth drunk down. On her lips, in the agon of a bird, I seize salvation. The Spirit has spoken. The Spirit speaks. And shredding the east, the blood-bellied sun erupts and debouches a surge-swelling ruff. Rolled over hills it throbs and pulses. All about it fluctuant air shivers and breaks. I see myriads of fleck whirl and ascend, articulating vast seizures, gross instances, arpeggios of dream, dissonances of raptness, a vortex of crest. There is a walking whirl about my knees as I pray. I think moons have kept measure. I find at my fingers a seethe of rapture, a surge up of source. I sense vast clefts of emptiness boiling for love. I hear the fluxum glut of violent causes. I taste a distilled harmonic beyond the surfaces of trem. I hear in my deep pealings of horns, far trumpets of succinctness, a blare of band and zithers of light. I savor moans of brass. It falls about me and sings of peace, a treading of feet on the stairs of redress. Hear me forever in thy towers of peace, O Lord and my God, O Maker and Creator, heart within heart, the long dream of durance. I press on, I will not be cautioned. I have evinced finality, I know clear oath. Drenched in its depth, the long lesson of the life finds its point and hub, a meaning zoned on tridents of gem, one garnet of joy. Speechless, the holiest gag of rejoicement shudders my tongue. I eat temples of change. Standing, I exalt. My act lives blessed. My act lives. From its life delivered, I stand free. And the rose renewed, I rise, I stand free. In the wisdom of the flesh, in the truth of the touch, in the silence of the smile, redeemed. Under the blessing of a bird, I seize freedom, raced out of hell. Through the mystery of love, in the ecstasy of the bird, the rose revealed. I stand free. And so, that's the way it is. The action begins. That's the way it is when the stakes are drawn. That's the way it is when the beauty burns. Burning purifies itself. It's so good. The lion with the great celebration begins to dawn. The great jubilation, the shouts of response. Out of a man's lacerated heart, the sheer salvation of the kiss turned complete. Woman ropes into her deeps of resources for hidden balm, solace and consolation. The heart of the poet celebrates. The heart of the monk shudders, draws back, expands, reaches to embrace, to subsume all distinction in the one witness. The poet cries. The monk reads his dream and finds out, clenches his teeth, bites his eye teeth together, chips his teeth. Chips his teeth. Oh, no hope for him, idiot. Proud heart, riddled. But the celebration must go on. The celebration must go on. Her heart a bruise on the Christ flesh suffered out of locked agonies of rebirth. Her soul pierced inward upon the extravagant passion of woman cut between somber and radiant choices. Her lips panting the name of God as she thrusts out the tip of her tongue for one more drop of his nerving grace. Solitary rose, what wall could entomb her? She is all polish and ecstasy. She is all passion, all fire and devotion. She is all woman, in love of God, bitten by the rapture of God. These sounds through my mind, thirsting the inconceivable excellence of Christ. I hear her feet like rain clashes run the flat streets to do his will. All ache, her heart the glorified wound. Her soul curls back on its pang as the toes of the Christ clutch back on that nail. In the stigmata of his gaze, her love coils like the flesh on its iron, the love ache of the oak. When she utters the holy name, you could never doubt God died for the love of man. Solitary road. Unspeakable primacy, the masked and dangerous glint of implication, the gleam of death in the knives of her desire, the crescendos thirsted in the strings of her passion. I have seen in her eyes destinies expand and race out beyond the apogees of perfection. She catches them all. Birds beat for her. In the click of her teeth, she bites little pieces. Dance, dance. Never stint that torrential heart, girl and mother, holy immolation, free as none else of the vice of the south, that narrow horde of unbroachable stinkings. Her head, her boots and sparkles. The seethe of her voice is pure as the ecstasy of fire in ice. Solitary rose, the Spanish pride, the Aztec death, the Mexican passion, the American hope. Woman of the Christ Church, aching in bone, God-thirster, beautiful, inviolable, well-meet of passion. And the fiercest, extravagant love is the tangible source of all wisdom. And the sprint of your exquisite flesh is evinced the awesome recklessness of God's mercy. Celebrate, celebrate. Never cease to rejoice, heart. Never cease in your pain and your anguish to rejoice. Never cease in the maul and denial of your own blasphemy. Never cease to suffer. Never cease. And celebration ends in his own apotheosis. The mind comes reeling back to the formidable difficulties in which it finds itself. The voice of the poet becomes hushed, and then the soul of the monk gropes around, seeks to define areas of it, the complication of what it has done. No one gets through unscathed, no matter with what bravery he engages. But the beauty itself is inexhaustible and carries him on. The serenity of his acceptance. The days go by in the long night. He ponders and meditates. Sings another song. From the rock unto the dawn's resurrection, icon of the womb, matrix of the mother, between the gates of stone, the bone portal, terrible in truth, the word rejoicing. The blunt hand groped the cleft of being. Through the porch of bone reeled the drunken soldier. Rude in the solemn wheel stumbled the sodden roisterer. Senseless is shunt the throat of silence. Mindless is mazed the womb of stillness. Blinded the upstart stumble. Terrible in truth, the word rejoices. Let the hand be wrung, let foul the placid water. Root out this wrong, rout this wrath. Chop the stolid finger. Axe of stone, the bladed granite. Righteous his retribution is not. Terrible in truth, the word rejoices. Let peace prevail, its pureness of presence. On the cliff above the sea, the solitary star, scarved in cloud, sinks and closes. Blunt hand is stanched, its wrong to ponder. Heart skin is slit, membrane of the senses. Out of that cave the blunderer is born. Terrible in truth, the word rejoices. In the womb of the mother, the word conceived. In the chalice of God is born the self-conceived. There burns the light, there dawns the luster. Where mind was drunken, a sensual dream. Aura of illusion is mist veil vanished. Terrible in truth, the word rejoices. O lion of the heart, rager and pursuer, where the lioness roams, nights of striped lightning. O longing of the lions, the bronze lion lust, stretched and toiling, a sensual spasm, a tawny coupling, the clinging, the clawing, tumescent in torment, the drench of stone desire. In the song of sex, the lioness lapses, the lions lash, but the turbulence passes. Terrible in truth, the word rejoices. In the sealed rock, the tomb of resurrection. In the mother womb, the living chalice. The word awaits, unborn, unresurrected. Beyond the pang of birth, beyond the pain of death, the single substance. Before the mother womb, before the father phallus, before the thunder sounded, the birth of malice. Terrible in truth, the word rejoices. Out of the rose restored, the round returning. Bless the murder hand, the brutal member. Blunderer, betrayer, the stunned assaulter. The drunken soldier, stumbler on peace. O throne of God, O seat of wisdom. Nations of night, the perfect plenty. Hush, the chamber glory. Terrible in truth, the word rejoices. And the rose rages. Over the cross, the thorns of denial rebuke the egoism of prepossession. In the eminence of ascent, the bloom of essence actualized unsheathes the storms of existence. Thus it is that anguish, self-consolation, yields into being the multifoliate particularities of the whole. In the presence of person, the rose invincible rages and affirms. Being and becoming realize the sublime synthesis, the ecstasy of presence. Son and mother, the self-sacrificing God immolated on the tree. Christ and the cross, incarnating irreducibly the ecstasy of the rose. Bride of the world, a nuptial consummated unendingly on the sword of spirit. Tremulous flesh, alive with instinct and potentiality, deflowered instant by instant. Over and over the unslakable scepter thirsting through the nightfall of the flesh, its subsistent good. Flesh and spirit, spirit and the flesh transmuted together, sealed in Christ the indwelling. He gazes. Out of the very pores of the skin, the irreducible subjectivity of person, transcending, exceeding in depth the whole world of objects, the whole world of subjects. Dance, dance. Dance on the cross of God, the cruciform of the road. Dance out the fierce exultancies. Dance out the rivering apogee of time and its deceptions. Dance in the heart's redemptive craze that seizes the shackles of fallen worlds and annuls their prison. The elemental pound of explicit hope the world restores. Under the feet of 1,000 triumphs, the cross renewed. In the life of the rose, the pulsant point of mystical intuition, God immolates himself, makes himself new. Form constellates being as the cone of creation, specified, meets the cone of the uncreated, specified. she exults, and she keeps you by. The long ecstasy of affirmation, the dynasty of the rose, its raging invincibility, its articulate force, its clear ethos of truth. As the sun, bursting out under cloud, its plunge toward earth, burns the coal of itself one ruby for sunset, and the conflagration, the rose refulgence, purifies the west. Spurned, in my mind, solitary eye, voiceless, constellated, the insuperable body and the sequent grace. The poem breaks, and out of these long-locked lips, out of this throat, these ventricles, toll the throes of celebration, the canticle of the rose. And I am free, because the spirit in me cries out to the Christ in her and is appeased. The long shout of jubilation, the soul's syllable of delight. And the mutuality of this gaze, his cry of love, of anguish, out of the travail of sensuality, glimpsing itself beyond the beloved, crying out through the inarticulate web of the senses of what is not sensate, rejoicing under its cringe of anguish, its moan of bliss, the unbelievable prolongation of the trill of contingency and unimpeachable love, this our gasp of delight, Christ's oath of truth, God's cry. And so he listens, he answers himself. Across long riverings of time he has come, he arrives, he gazes. The smile of these essences bridging being, his own meaning is, we are the metaphors of his certitude, his power to perfect. We are the symbols of his supremacy. We are the mutually inflected beatitude that yields him contingency, prompts his strike. In our single gaze, his glimpse beyond finitude opens existence. Not ego, the finite principle, but presence, self, Atman, the mode of the infinite. Two egos, soft in unison, moded on the subsistence of Christ, his single isness. She taught me how one is free, possessing freedom in subsistence, what freedom is. I taught her how the crest of emotion, that freedom, is crowned on the undersurge of intellectual passion, which is depth. She taught me what deliverance is, the freedom that is salvation, its truth in truth. That the free is freedom as truth is being, the crest of release that liberates freedom in the primacy of response, the act of existence. As act, being, his essay to be. So she, I, in us, he is, we three, free. For in her, all the defects of woman find their apogee of relevance and are transfigured. Jealousy, suddenness, curiosity, vainness, pique, tears, dissimulation, folly, ingredients of the essential mystery femininity is. Her utterness canonizes them each through her sheer assertion of being, constituents of the feminine mode that seek their power of reflection. Ornaments of spontaneity, the scandal of masculine gravity established on the due subordination of woman and the rejection of spontaneity in love. These she defies, not by insolence, as the adventurous controverts the stunned world of man and appropriates its fixtures, but in the primacy of response, essential to the whole of feminine nature and indigenous to its truth. Presenting each to the face of God, she dances as the irrepressible daughter dances in the doting father's eye, supremely confident, roguishly certain of what delights him, because she knows she typifies what fatherhood never can be, and so adores. You emerge, unwombed of the world, elemental as the elemental earth, as lava under the shells, as the river in the gorge, fierce as the sun, fierce as the high-falling light, sudden as water falls, poured over ledges, uncontainable as the swirling torrents of air that plow the globe, awesome as the immeasurable storms morning in from far shores, ineluctable as the sea, as restless and as eternal, beautiful as being because you possess being, elusive as the bird escaped from the fowler, wise as the church because you possess the church, for in you she is, in you she achieves her presence, presages her future. For out of your womb children have come, as souls come forth from the font of baptism. Out of your heart love has come as Christ came forth from the womb of his mother. Out of your mind wisdom has come as idea comes forth from the mind of God. Out of your lips truth has come as bread comes forth from the hands of Christ. Rose, O rareness of the revealed, dance out the truth of being as act and existence. Dance up the lineal measurement of time to its quintessence. Beat it up into synthesis. Under the storm of your heels, pound to perfection. Make it be. Establish it in your movement, the perdurable moment that cannot die. Incarnate it. Divinize it in your fierce, unquenchable essence. Confer beatitude upon it. Immortalize it in your glance, your look, and your laughter, by the kiss of your lips, by the ecstasy of your breath. Recreate it anew. Oh, clear expression of beauty, oh, melody of existence. Rose, reality unfolded on the four wings of the cross, in the ecstasy of crucifixion, in the blood of being, in the single burn of beauty. Be, so that in you, the consummate vision of other, in you, I am. This morning at mid-morning, I went up onto Indian Hill where the dead are. It was very tranquil there. I stood among the headstones. All the superlatives of man's affirmation against the fact of death. When I walked past the little mausoleum, a black grackle flew out, and I knew the presence of death. But it was not a threat to me. And I stayed there a long time and drew their presences about me and felt the long ache of my spirit, given its solace in the amplitude of their death. I fell in love with them in a beguiling sort of way, and did not wish to leave them and come and encounter you who are the living. A monk fastens his death in advance. In his 3 vows, he seals in advance what every man must receive in his time. At the point of death, every man must give up his possessions. At the point of death, every man must relinquish his woman. No more her lips upon him, no more her arm, no more the soft kiss of her voice, no more her presence. At the point of death, every man must relinquish his will and be utterly obedient. The monk nails his death long time in advance by the 3 nails, the 3 spikes of his vows. So that what he has to meet, he can meet at full stretch. Oh man, oh monk, oh poet, heart of poet, moan of monk, the three stretch of the boughs, encircled by your possessions, encircled by a woman's lips, encircled by the great thrust and draft of your own will, your volition, your appetite to seize, possess, bring into you, confirm. Ah, oh, idiot, blessed secret, madman, devil in white robes, painted sepulchre, saint, man of God. Oh, I couldn't have chosen where I am, but I'm where I'm supposed to be. The face I know becomes the night black robe, and I cry out of a shambling of pain, a clotting of anguish. Great tongs tear rents of speechlessness cut from my lips. I drunkenly stagger. I flay segments of numbness. A shuff of religiousness tatters my shank. And once more in my life I keen the sheerest grief, the one chagrin and ecstasy of loss, the pure pride. I sing the song of a man put down, go between woman and the will of the world, demolished by all that opened him out, abandoned by that which edified hell, flaked sherds, called splints of ridiculousness, crackling like nut trickle under my soul. Some fragments of pain chip flittage of itch through my fact of death. And I do. I originate death. I eat the must of it foul. Champing its substance of acridness crunched in my teeth, I gulp savor. These ones have thorns, said the vendor, taking coin. Careful they don't up and stick you for your pains. They cut quick. I hugged in my arms the wild roses. Their crushed abundance, a stifling mockery, warning the air, a liquid lament. And I felt nails pierced my palms, and I knew it was over. I knew she was gone. And what kills in me, I kill in my life. What slivers me through, I seize up and devour. I am free. I rush the rampage, the turmoil of deliverance. Out of this smashed hurt, I grab windfalls of freedom. I go forward in death. The creative death we call life is God, is death in God. Eat me, Christ. I lift blood for my worship. Grind me like shuck between the teeth of beast, carnivorous God, great cannibal of life, dark glutton of death. Choke man flesh for victuals, I am your food. Oh, Jesus of the bitten brow, the rat-nibbled feet, tombed amid vermin and lewd varmints of earth. Gopher non-God of worms and men, conceiver and destroyer, great famisher of life, I lift your mouth. And I crawl out of here. I inch out of this place. I rig long tunnels of darkness. I spot daylight, promising the purity of pain. Give me my pain for purge. Give me my hurt to heal me on Lord and Master. Burn me black and burn me brittle, but slip me deliverance. Oh, self, crippler and insurer, the heart's special oath. Oh, self-deceiver, oh, man of fictions, whence freedom, what anguish is its aim? And I crawl. I will get there. Like a club snake, I hitch toward freedom. Out of this skin, this slough, across these illusions, upon this blood. No law, but the law of deprivation. No hope but the hope of deliverance. No curse but the curse of the uncaptive. And my life comes round, the great millstone of exaction, flint-hearted Capricorn plunging toward Pisces and the torpid fish. 20 years gone, I knocked my breast over Walport water, rolling those hideous moon-ringed eyes on the cliff seashell, searching for her. Dip down, dip. And groping between crude flanges of hurt, crackling on deprivation, the willfulness of woman, my own conceit. Crippled, my crippling teaching me, hunching through to the true nothingness, that utterness, that not-to-be-known abstract reality that lies beyond nature. And every fleck of prime being whirls up, a measureless movement refashions the world. Dance, dance, dance out the troubled dream, the intervals of silence. Dance up the wastage of time, the shuff of existence. Rose of the real, rose of the reddest heart, the bloodiest beauty. Rose of response, the total reach, the rarest renouncement. Somewhere you slip through sweeps of ecstasy, your savagery of truth skewered on the flint knife that crucifies your heart. The Spanish pride, the Aztec death, the Mexican passion. Somewhere the light falls forward out of your face, stabbing your lips. Unpossessable rose, black bead of God, pure strippings of faith. I have spun in and out of your dream and been annulled. I start through raptures of passion. Detonations of hurt pummel my heart. Wherever I go, the burn of that beauty brands me, bludgeons me. I am thrown, I slew sideways, grinning I go down. Getting up I mouth, blasphemes of incomprehension, the stutter of gall. A forked, naked man. One spasm of pain in the world's womb, one wince in the dark. One more brief poem to send you away on, and then have finished with this. It has been beautiful being with you, even the beauty of my exacerbation, which have written a beauty upon me and a pain that is beautiful. I have become a beautiful man through my pain, through the pain of woman, the blessing of her anguish. If I have any heroism, it is the heroism of rising to the measure of her terrible truth. I have no regrets because, as I told you, I'm where I'm supposed to be. Oh, so much of my life would seem to deny it. I look you in the face and kiss your lips as a beautiful love. And will always remember you. Because you have honored me and understood me and have not been amazed. As what goes out toward rare prospects, remote propensity. Hush, heart. Something is done. Something sears on to new tilts, new density. Punch her. Something goes on. Far themes of Circes transform the stabs of protestation, valorize the pang. All the tentacles of attachment, the root hairs of resistance, transmute toward peace. Oh, heart, heart! Let the body's truth strike depths of realness through the soul's shock depth. Let symbols, transformations coil spheres of wholeness in the heart's crude thrash. What persists? Voices, celebrations, and to be shut of it. For she leaves in her wake a long path of pureness, the afterglow of the rose. As the footprint of Christ on the calmed water remains immortal, so her presence, gone, on my soul's cowed sea, prolongs its truth.